Welcome back, Scots fans, to another edition of the Coach's Corner. I'm Dylan Girard, joined here with Gordon College women's basketball coach Julie Brown. Coach, a big week last week for you guys. Two tough opponents in Roger Williams and Curry. What can you take away from two games like that?
Well, we need to finish. That's the biggest takeaway. We played both those teams pretty tight for 3/4 of the game, and then sort of let it get away from us. The score is really not indicative of the game in whole in its entirety, and so we need to finish better. We need to make shots when it counts. We've struggled with that all year, but it's time we started to put some of that together. So.
And now that you're a few games into conference play, have you learned anything different about your team than, even from your non-conference schedule up until now? Maybe certain players that have really stepped it up, or anything along those lines?
Well, obviously we've matured a little bit as a team. Having Kayla Pacheco back, her first game was right before Christmas, I believe. So she's now got a few games under her belt. She's double-figure scorer for us. That really helps us a lot. Gives us a little bit more depth. So that's been a welcome addition for us, for sure.
Now you guys are unique compared to a lot of other teams where you don't typically have that deep of a roster as far as numbers. You'll see around 5 to 8 players get most of the time, and there's not much more than that on your roster to begin with. But how does that play into your overall game planning, just how you go about games, or do you think maybe that has anything to do with what you were saying as players getting tired? Or
well, it's certainly perhaps a factor sometimes, but they're young, they're fit, and I believe that they're capable of playing for 40 minutes at a high pace. There are some ways that I would like to play, that if we had a few more players, perhaps we could do that. I'd like to play a little bit more up tempo and pressure a little bit more, but that does wear over the course of the season on players. And so when you have kids, the majority of your players playing 33, 35, even 40 minutes, it's kind of a difficult thing to implement right now. So, but I do expect our kids to play hard for 40 minutes, and we've done that. Most of our breakdown has been really just honing in mentally when it really gets tight, and some of that's just growing pains. But I fully expect that we'll grow through that and put a full game together here.
We were talking just before this, NEC on Thursday. You're playing against the leading scorer in the conference. How do you make a game plan to defend a scorer like that, or what's your mentality going into that game on Thursday?
Yeah, well, still trying to formulate that a little bit. I've watched about 4 films on them and trying to think, okay, what's the best way we do that, and we'll work on that in practice the next couple days. But one advantage is they don't have a great deal of height, and I think we have. We're pretty strong in the post, and those kids really are going to have to step up in that position for us and be able to score over them. So that's helpful. Their guards are good. They can shoot the 3. We need to have a hand in their face and defend that well. So we'll have a challenge for us on Thursday.
Well, thanks, Coach, and best of luck this week.
Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate it.
That'll do it for this edition of the Coach's Corner. Check the Gordon College Athletics Facebook page, as well as every broadcast, for more information and inside scoop on the Gordon College women's basketball team.